What's up, boys? Today I'm going to be showing you how to make a grunge styled Fortnite header. It doesn't have to be Fortnite related, I'm just keeping it Fortnite related because that's what most of my posts are. But basically, I'm going to show you how to do like the magazine letters yourself, so you don't have to copy them off of Google Images because they really just don't look very clean. I think it looks a lot cleaner when you do it yourself. I'm going to show you how to do the render yourself as well. I'm not going to show you how to port models into Blender. If you need to learn how to do that, I'll leave a video link in the description. I can't remember his name, I think it's like Shadows or something. He did a really good tutorial a while back and it's still very relevant, so go check that one out if you don't know how to do it yourself. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just going to use a model that I've already got ported and textured. Let's go Manic, I think that's the one I was thinking of. This one here. Yeah, this is the skin I'm going to use. Alright, so with this one, I think this one will fit the grunge aesthetic a bit more. You don't have to use any specific skin, just about any skin will work, to be honest, but I've seen this one work very well with the grunge aesthetic, so we're just going to stick with that. I'm going to turn names off because that's sort of annoying. Alrighty, for those that don't know, to move around, you can just push your scroll wheel in, so your middle mouse button, you can just use that and just move around like that. If you hold down shift while you do it, you're going to move on the any axis that you're basically dragging your mouse, so up and down would be this axis, left and right would be the horizontal axis. Also, to set your camera, what I do, find the easiest way, add camera, and if you do Control Alt and then 0 on your numpad, it will basically lock the camera into your current position. So if I'm over here, let's say I want the camera here for whatever reason, bam, it's as simple as that, Control Alt and 0. Basically, I'm going to first set the camera, and then I'm going to change this to 3000 by 1000 because that's the size for Twitter banners that I recommend you use, rather than, what is it, 1500 by 500. If you do 3000 by 1000, it's like double the pixels, but it comes out like, it reduces it when you upload it and it becomes out a lot cleaner. I'm going to make, by the looks of it first, before we start off anything, it looks like my model's massive compared to my camera, as you can tell. So what I'm going to do is click the bones and tap S on my keyboard, and I'm going to do 0.011, enter. And if you tap full stop on your numpad, it will basically position your current location to where to whatever you have selected. So now that looks a lot more normal. And let's try and find a good position. I like to zoom in a little bit, so it's a little bit too zoomed in. Select my camera, and then basically just drop the focal length to about 37 to 38-ish. And I think that will do, and we can just sort of mess around with it for the most part. So we're going to do the posing. If you grab the pelvic bone, you're going to move the entire character for the most part. For this one, it doesn't really work for some reason, so what I'm going to do is actually just grab the legs as well. The one thing I've noticed a lot of people do when they're new to sort of making their own renders, the back looks really stiff because they don't add any sort of curvature like what I'm doing now. Even the slightest turns in like each bone in the spine can make it look a lot more natural, so rather than just being a straight stiff spine. Because like, one thing I always recommend doing is actually getting up yourself, like getting up, doing the pose, just to sort of reference it and be like, okay, well, this is what my back would do, or this is what my shoulders would do. Are the eyes fixed in this one? They are. So that's basically ready to go. I don't know what this redness is on my scar, so if anyone else has had this issue and knows how to solve it, let me know. This is the first time it's ever happened to me, so I'm not really bothered by it, but basically I'm just going to save this. We'll just put this as tutorial example. Can't type, there we go. And now we're going to go jump into Photoshop. So now we're in Photoshop. I've got a canvas, it's 3000 by 1000 pixels as you can see. We're going to drag our new render in, so if I go to my folder that my renders, or most of my renders sit in, which will be this one here, save that as tutorial example, bam. So now we have the render. Now first things first, I'm going to open my pack. I'll have a link to my Discord in the description. If you go to my Discord, I've got a few different packs there in a text channel just ready to be picked up by you guys, so go ahead and check them out. I'm going to open up eye candy for the sake of this tutorial basically. Alrighty, here we are. So we've got Grunge Assets. So this one has like a bunch of different things we can use. So we've got this here as well. Got a few different textures and stuff like that. But what I really want is this here. So actually we'll take this for now. Chuck it in the background. Make it a bit bigger as well. And we're going to make a duplicate of it using Control J, and we're just going to drag that over here. Now it's super easy to blend stuff like this. You just get a really soft eraser, turn the opacity down on it as well, and it looks like you've barely even touched it. Like, look at that, that's pretty solid. And now we'll just duplicate this one using Control J as well, and we can just sort of drag it over here until we get something that looks sort of nice. What I might actually do is flip it, because it's sort of getting too repetitive now. So we'll do that. Drag it over to like here, and then we'll just do some soft erasing on it now. This here is basically just like a paper sort of texture. Chuck it about there. Control U to desaturate it. And I'm just going to mess around with some blend modes real quick. I kind of like the lighter color one, but it's a little bit too light for my liking. Oh, actually, might be the way to go. I'm going to go with screen, and then you can merge them together and then make it a little bit darker. So I'd probably go to about, I'd go pretty dark. I'd go to about -43, and then, wait, hold on, what did I just do? And then I'm going to go curves, and I'm just going to sort of play around with it here too. And I think that looks pretty good. Alrighty, so now I'm going to show you guys how to do the magazine letters. That's probably the main reason you guys came here. You're probably sick of just doing it, you know, copying them off of Google all the time. They're so simple. I'm surprised I even need to make a tutorial on them, but it's been requested, so I'm going to do it. Let's make this one for myself. Fuck it, why not? So we'll just do, basically what we're going to do is just a random shape. It's going to be sort of like a square, but it's just going to be, you know, far from perfect. So like that, just literally a random shape. Make sure you do it on a new layer as well. Then you want to right click, you want to fill, and I'm going to do my colors like this sort of color here. I kind of fuck with that color. Like that. So you see what I mean? It's just like a weird rhombus sort of shape. And now I'm going to duplicate it, and I'm going to darken it a little bit. So if you do Control U on the duplicate layer, and then just drop the lightness and darken it a bit. And now you can just sort of press Control, like hold down Control, and then just drag the corners. I normally just do something like that, and you can sort of see how it's coming along already. And then you just grab your letter. So let's put just the Z for now. Now you can get creative with the fonts as well. You don't want to use the same font for every letter. So for this one, let's go with what's a good font? Let's go with that. For you guys, one. Let's make it a little bit bigger as well. There we go. Now we're going to rasterize the type, because what I'm about to do you can't do with the text layer. And I'm just going to drag that corner out like this. Okay, and you can sort of see what I'm doing. So I'm lining up these blue lines with the shape edges as well, so like that. And you can sort of see how it's got a little bit of depth to it as well now. And we can add some color to it. So what I'm going to do is just go color overlay, make sure it's set to normal. And I'm just going to basically match it with that first layer there. And you can sort of mess around with the blend options as well, so you can add like inner shadow like that, maybe a soft, really soft, whatchamacallit, drop shadow as well, just like that for example. And then I'm just going to rasterize the layer style for the sake of it, and that's basically a magazine letter done. Like it's very simple. I'm going to shrink the size of the text, to be honest, to about that. And what I'm going to do is with this layer 1 copy, I'm just going to go filter, noise, add noise, and you don't have to add a stupid amount of noise. I'm going to do about just under 4%, set it to uniform, done. And that's basically a magazine letter done. And you can add like a soft little drop shadow on the bottom layer as well. So if I was to do like that, for example, let's switch it up a little bit. Like that. Like very easy. And now what you can do is you can group them, set it to Z, and then new layer. So all your Z layers are going to be there, and then we're going to do that with each letter. Now what you can do as well is you can do several letters in one layer as well, like in one group. So let's say I would do HA now, like this. Like that. So there's a little bit of color going on there, which is alright. We're not going to do any drop shadows for it either. And we'll do a bit of noise for the bottom layer too. Let's do a lot of noise because fuck it, why not? There we have it. So that's our end layer done. And you can get like mad creative with this as well. Like, you could have like overlapping fucking layers and shit. Like you could do whatever you want. I don't know how much, like how. I can't stress that enough. You can get so creative. And let's add some noise to it, and some noise to, let's do this layer instead this time. Bam. And that's our E. And that's really just how you do it. Like there's no rules. You can get as creative as you like. It still looks like magazine letter cutouts. Like I know it's, you can do other fonts as well. I didn't really use like more magazine sort of fonts. You could use literally any font you want. You could do a cursive font, you could do a fucking, I don't know, I did a soccer field font. You can do whatever you like. It's because magazines aren't strict to one font. Magazines use all sorts of fonts in the world. So that's basically that. Now I'm gonna finish off the header basically. So it's pretty cruisy from here on out. So like what I do is I'll just get like a bunch of like random shit really, to be honest. Sort of gives you the freedom to do whatever the fuck you want. There's no rules when it comes to grunge. No one's gonna go like I could throw a statue in there and like no one will say a thing. Set that to lighter color. Let's get some more grunge assets. What else is there? We've got dust and scratches and stuff as well. Yeah, this looks cool, so we'll do that. If I rotate it as well, see what I mean? Like this pack's not bad for grunge, but there's a lot of like just strictly grunge aesthetic packs out there that you can use. Make sure you put some stuff above the actual character as well, like that, like what I've done there. And let's just put it over here too, because why the fuck not? And we'll just get rid of majority of it so it's not super repetitive. Let's get rid of that big thumbprint there. And I've got color corrections in here as well. Some of them are pretty cool. So like got these ones here that really match like the grunge sort of aesthetic. So if we chuck that over the top of everything, you see what I mean? It's really intense though, but you can always turn down the opacity on it. So that one actually looks kind of cool. I kind of fuck with that. And I'm pretty sure I've got some like something like this, yeah. This one will look alright. So it basically desaturates everything except for the reds and magentas. So, and I can just sort of decrease it a bit as well. So that looks alright. And all this area here is looking pretty blank. For grunge ones, what you can always do is just get, you don't even have to be good at drawing to do this. Set the pixels to like 3, hardness to 100. And you can literally just do shit like this, you see? And let's just chuck like a crown or something on top, so like... As you can tell, I'm clearly not good at drawing, but that's almost what adds to the aesthetic. And then I can do like a exclamation mark. It's like picture this as like a rapper's face or something, and you're the tattoo artist. Just see what I mean? There's literally no rules for grunge headers. And now what I like to do at the very end is just new layer. Let's get our brush back out. Let's make it white. Pump this up to like, yeah, fuck it, 2000, whatever. Drop the hardness a lot. I like to drop the opacity to about 25-ish. And I like to have a little bit cover the text, like a little bit of my brush cover the text and a little bit cover the head, just sort of the position I've got it in now, and then just do a click. And it just sort of adds to the lighting as well. Now, some color corrections you can do. So I would basically select my top layer, hold down shift, select my bottom one, put them in a folder like that, duplicate that folder, and then using Control J and then Control E to merge them. Now I just sort of select the whole thing and just do new layer by cut. Now we've got this to work with. Basically, I'm going to go to Camera Raw Filter, and I'm just going to increase the contrast, you know, the clarity, texture, everything like that as well. This actually kind of looks pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. The effect that it had on the smoke, the color correction, it looks kind of cool. Adds like some sort of like grungy build up to the thing. You can do like high exposure like this. I'm not a huge fan of that stuff. I like to keep the exposure pretty low for these grunge headers. Like when you think of grunge, you think like dark and edgy. You know what I mean? Drop the shadows as well. Whites can even be dropped as well. But fuck it, like we'll just literally mess around with it. I like to drop the vibrance a tad. And if you go over here, you got your tone curve. So this is basically just like the same as the adjustment curves that you would do down here. HSL adjustments, this is where you can have a lot of fun. Let's just bump up the reds, right? And then literally just drop everything else. You know what I mean? And you've just got red. And then split toning, you can sort of add a little bit of color to the lighting. Like that. I don't really like to do that though. Split toning is fucking gross. I used to do it and I hate it. And then this one here is a lot of fun as well. Grain. So you can bump up the grain on it. And that's basically like noise, like film grain. So you can jump the size, the roughness of it. Just click OK, just see how it looks. The grain's a little bit too intense on that one, so I'm just basically going to sit there and redo it over and over again until I'm happy with it. And there we have it. That's basically it done. That is how you make a grunge style Fortnite banner. And you can literally always just get rid of the Fortnite character and just have your text like fairly large in the middle. It doesn't matter, but the main focus on this one was for me to show you how to do, you know, the magazine letters, the sort of hand-drawn aesthetic, the grungy build-up. This is just sort of how you get it going. So you can get all the assets that I used from my Discord. I'll have a link to it in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have suggestions for other sort of tutorials, let me know, or just videos in general, because I'm at a fucking blank. I fucking suck at this shit. But thank you guys for watching, and I hope you found it useful. All right, take care, guys. Peace. Mwah.